Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, Rebecca Chambers, Albert Wesker. Resident Evil Director's Cut. Greetings, Terry fan is here to review the game that started the survival horror genre, Resident Evil from Capcom. This series was created by Shinji Mikami, who was inspired by his game that he made in 1989 in Japan called Sweet Home. Originally, Resident Evil was going to be a remake of Sweet Home, but turns out we got Resident Evil or Biohazard in Japan. This is the director's cut. This was released in 1997, 1 year after the release of Resident Evil. This was a way to give fans of the Resident Evil game another look at how Resident Evil was created, how Resident Evil got started in a director's cut format, and also include, as you see right there, a bonus of Resident Evil 2, the demo. I believe that's Chris Redfield on the cover. There's one of the zombies. There's Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, and the demo of Resident Evil 2 with Leon S. Kennedy. Face your fears and the ultimate experience of suspense and terror. Bloodthirsty zombies, mutant beasts, monstrous servants, untold mysteries lurk around every corner. The nightmare lives in the award-winning game of survival horror. Get ready as fear takes you to the next level. The exclusive interactive demo of Resident Evil 2 will push you completely over the edge. I'm going to show you guys the inside of the disc. There's the demo disc for Resident Evil 2. I'll get that soon enough. There's the booklet for Resident Evil, the director's cut, and there's the disc itself. When you remove the disc, you get the zombie. This was Capcom's way to make up for the delay of Resident Evil 2 to the fans, since Resident Evil 2 was in development immediately after Resident Evil was a success. And here's an interesting fact. This game is actually in the Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition as the worst voice acting in the history of video games. Looking back on it, it was really terrible voice acting, but still, regardless of how bad the voice acting was, the game turns out to be one of the all-time best ever made. And recently, this game is just one of the most successful games in the history of video games. Got near unanimous praise by critics everywhere. Now, let me get you the story for those who who have never played Resident Evil or just new to the franchise. If you played Resident Evil 4 and 5. Basically, I decided, since I reviewed all of the Resident Evil movies leading up to Resident Evil Retribution, it seemed only fair to review the game review the source of Resident Evil, and that's the first Resident Evil video game. So I decided for the next few days I'm going to review Resident Evil video games. That's Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like they say, fair is fair. And today I'm reviewing the director's cut of Resident Evil. But now let's get to the story. Alpha Team is flying around the Argray Mountains situated in Raccoon City. They are investigating the disappearance. The team stars Special Tactics and Rescue Squad. They're investigating a series of cannibalistic murders when they are attacked by a group of savage dogs. The team escapes into the mansion, the Alpha Team, which comprises of Barry Burton, Jill Valentine, and Chris Redfield, the two main protagonists in the game, and Albert Wesker, the team captain. Anyway, they escape into the mansion where they thought they were safe, and depending on which character you play as, you get a bonus character for your guy to help you through the game, to guide you through the game. If you play as Chris Redfield, you get Rebecca Chambers, and if you play as Jill Valentine, you get Barry Burton. The team, you go into the mansion and investigate the murders. Upon discovering a zombie, you soon discover that you are not alone in the mansion, having to fend out countless ways of zombies. Now here's the thing, and mutant dogs and all types of monsters. This game has limited ammo and ammunition and healing herbs, and the amount of times you can save in this game. They really wanted to create the atmosphere of being scared. And I will admit, I'll tell you guys a story. I remember in 2005 when I first had this game, I remember as playing as Jill Valentine, when I went into the room before I encountered the first zombie, I turned the game off. I was that scared. You all gonna be probably wondering, how can you be so scared before you get to the first zombie? Well, the way the game started off, it really built up the tension. And I remember, I literally felt my heart racing. It was going 9-0, and it still did it when I played as Jill going through I played the game again just to try to beat it, and I encountered the zombie dogs and still got scared. I mean, this game really, there have been some other attempts to make a scary video game since the late 80s, but this game blows them all out of the water. In my opinion, every other horror game should address Resident Evil as Sir. Because without this, survival horror would have just been, how should I put it, a footnote in video game history. But Resident Evil really delivered. The horror factor, it basically felt like you were in a movie, but you were scared. You're just in the midst of danger. No matter where you are in this game, you're just scared no matter where you go. The controls were very much the same feeling. You basically are scared all the time. It basically and the story really was clever. You never could guess what was going to happen. And I had to tell you about my favorite cutscene is when Barry saves Jill and he says, "You're almost a Jill sandwich." And to this day, Resident Evil fans still use that coin phrase in this video game. The demo basically lets you play as Leon S. Kennedy going through Raccoon City, and the game stops when you get to the police department. It's a nice way to see how Resident Evil 2 looked like before it was officially released. Lots of changes too. But anyway, this game really brought the horror genre to the dance. In my opinion, it's still the king of survival horror. It's basically the father of survival horror. The king of kings. And every survival horror game should address Resident Evil as Sir. Anyway, as the story progresses, you find out more about what's going on in this mansion, and you really need to check out this game. It has good replay value. You get 2 storylines in one game, and basically you keep on trying to outdo your last score. So yeah, I definitely recommend picking up Resident Evil Director's Cut if you have never played the first Resident Evil game. And if you're basically new to the series, this is a good way to go. And give Resident Evil Director's Cut a 9 out of 10. Thank y'all for watching, and take care. Resident Evil.